Hey, welcome back. This is Clay Nelson, Clay Nelson Life Balance, are on KZSB AM 1290, and Susan's back in town. Whoa.
Sounds like I rode into my horse.
There you did. I trusted you would be here. You know what I mean? I put a bucket of water out and someplace for you to tie up, and you showed up. Gosh. Amazing. Anyway, all right, so now we were talking about trust, and we've had some people call in and had a great conversation in the last segment with a gal about trusting that her kids would actually clean their room up like they said they would, and we had a good time with her, didn't we? Mm-hmm. And hopefully she'll listen some more, that we didn't do anything wrong. Do you think? I trust that I was good, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, say yes.
Well, that's what the next part is about, building trust in anything, especially you.
Oh, cool. So what's it say?
It says, to build trust in anything or anyone, you have to first and foremost trust you.
Yeah. So what's it mean to actually trust yourself?
Well, you got to trust your own instincts.
Yeah.
Okay.
And trust your own experiences.
And that you can make good decisions.
Yep.
Yep. Or you even just make a decision.
Yeah. And isn't it true that there's only one person that has to say in how your life turns out? And wouldn't it be cool if you trusted that person? Because that person is you, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's really cool, You have to trust your own instincts, just like I say. And you have to trust your ability to make good decisions. And even if you haven't made good decisions in the past, you have to trust that along the way you'll learn how to make those decisions. It might be just out of your own experience as you get older.
Out of not making good decisions.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm going to be 65 in April, and I'm doing things a lot differently now than I did 20 years ago because I know more. Mm-hmm. And understand? And I've been around people more. The truth of the matter is that if someone or something you once had trust in has somehow broken that trust, what do you do? What do you do when trust is broken? What do you do? How do you give it up? How do you be with your in your personal relationships and coworkers and bosses and girlfriends, boyfriends, and financial systems and government leaders and all that stuff? What do you do when they've broken your trust? You just can't trust people. You can't trust what they're going to say. I mean, you can't move out on your own. I mean, I guess you could buy an island and move out on it, but that'd be kind of lonesome, Plus, I don't think they have cable TV out there on the islands.
Oh, darn.
Oh, well, what would we do?
Well, first, in order to trust, you've got to give up your fear. Yeah. Whatever fear that might be. Trust that you can't trust yourself, or trust you can't trust anybody else, or something bad's going to happen if you trust. Yeah.
And let me just ask you this. Where do you think that kind of fear comes from? Where does fear come from that stops you or says to you, I don't trust that person?
It could be from their own past experience.
Yeah. So it comes from them, right? Yeah. Yeah, so if that fear comes from them, the source of it is how they think. They can change how they think.
Yes.
And they could forgive that person, or they could forgive the federal government, or they could forgive the next door neighbor, or they could forgive whatever the issue is.
Themselves.
Good one, Susan. Or they can forgive themselves and move on in life. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like who you are with me all the time, right? Mm-hmm. You've never had to forgive me, have you?
There was one time back in 84.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so, I mean, that's one of the things you've taught me a lot is how to forgive, because I've seen you do it with me many, many times. So now, think about this now. No two people are ever alike. Being distrustful of one person or a situation because of the wrongs of another is just plain unfair. I mean, it's like, what's it going to get you if you get to be right that you can't trust somebody?
You get to be right.
Yeah, you get to be right and alone. All right? And after a while,
you find new people.
Yeah, but okay, you find new people, then you find ways to distrust them, then you get rid of those people.
So it's kind of like a never-ending
cycle. And then you got
cycle.
a whole bunch of big pile of untrusted people over there, and nobody in front of you, and you get to be right and alone. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, an example of this is, if you heard about last year, there was a big bridge along an interstate in Minnesota that collapsed during the rush hour, and many people were killed, and the bridge now has been rebuilt, but there are people that don't trust the bridge. They will not drive over that bridge anymore, even though it's a brand new bridge. And they commute 2.5 hours longer in their day because they don't trust the bridge. So you get it? Mm-hmm. All right? So,
wow.
So it's a whole way of living.
That would come in with fear, or fear would come into that.
That you're sure you're right, that you can't trust it the way life is, and we're going to eat worms and we're all going to die.
Or they're waiting to see how long it's going to last.
Right. They watch TV and they watch the people going over the bridge waiting for the bridge to collapse. Yeah. So, it's all about that. It's all about what we believe and how we operate. Now, remember you said the second one was forgive. I said forgive, not forget, right? So it's all about, I can remember what happened, I can remember what people said, but you have to forgive when they did things that made you feel distrust in them.
So you can take that. You don't want to forget what happened and use that as the lesson and move on without the fear.
Yeah.
Or the distrust, or whatever it was that caused you not to trust.
Yeah, I know. You know, a lot of times when I've worked with somebody or coached somebody, or it was actually just with somebody, and I caught them doing things that caused me to distrust them, and I forgave them. So I got back into a trusting way of being with them. I still remembered what they did to have me not trust them again, but it gets smaller and smaller as the experiences increase.
The trust?
Yeah, the distrust.
Okay.
Gets smaller and smaller.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Okay. So it's like sometimes moving on means that these people still live in your lives, and sometimes moving on means that, doing so could be without them living in your life. So it's all about how big you want to be and how forgiving you want to be and how you want your life to be. So next thing is giving up make wrongs. Remember, these points that we're speaking now, that's what I'm talking about now. So how do you open up when your trust has been broken? So 1 is give up fear. 2 is you have to learn how to forgive. And 3 is give up making people wrong, All right, the financial crisis in this country will never be solved by finger pointing or the debate over who is at fault. Who broke the system? I don't care who broke the system, unless the people that broke the system need to be a part of the resolve. I mean, the people that made the mistake, I'd like to have them be a part of the resolve because they know they made the mistake. So it's all about getting to a point to where if you don't make people wrong for the mistake they made, all right, they learn from it and move on, all right, and we just don't make it again. So everybody goes, okay, clean slate, let's go. Now, I'm not quite sure I want to be that carte blanche forgiving with what's going on in the financial industry now, okay?
Well, I would think that the people that are undermining things intentionally would kind of show up, and you wouldn't want to deal with those people anymore.
Well, I think a lot of it, what's going on now in the financial problem is it's so big, the conversation is so huge. I know so little about it. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust the government. I don't trust the news media. I don't trust anybody with $700 billion of a fix. It's like, who's going to get what? Who's pocketing what? What graft is going on? What senator is going to do what? Who's going to show up where? Who's lying? Understand? That's where my mind goes, and I'm just having a real hard time with this thing.
That's a lot to think about.
Yeah. Not only that is in a month we have to pick a president. Who do you trust? Holy mackerel! And I'm going to be 65 years old, and it's for when you're 60 in your 60s, you're responsible for everything.
Yeah.
How the world's going to be and everything. Okay. So number 3 was how much time we got? Okay, 3 minutes. All right. So number 3 was give up assumptions. Number 4 is always be in full and complete communication. The only way you can get from distrust to trust is to talk about it. That's the only way. You can't sit silent and learn to trust somebody again. You have to get complete with the distrust, move through it, get complete with the person or the issue, and start trusting again.
And also, I would think that after the communication has happened, it's got to be the actions that are taken.
Yeah.
Along with that.
Yeah, and that's number 6 is the accountability, right?
Well, okay. I'm skipping ahead of you.
Oh, no, that's great. So you notice how great people think alike?
Hey.
Whoa. Okay, now, real quick, I want to say again, Special Olympics, Southern California, 3rd Annual Special Olympics Car Classic Show fundraiser. The Classic Car Show to benefit Santa Barbara Special Olympics, Saturday, October 4th. That's this Saturday, October 4th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Santa Barbara City College West Campus. Just go over the bridge. You'll see it there. And you'll see some of the finest cars you've seen on the Central Coast anywhere. It's going to be really cool. So I've got to take a break now. This is Clay Nelson and Susan Nelson on the Clay Nelson Life Balance Hour on KZSB AM 1290. Come on back, and I'm going to get you trusting everything.